through Monday through Friday here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time as ever live free sports picks for the games beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and later. And to deliver those winners are professional handicappers over at Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place. Let's take a peek at who's on the show here with us for today. All right, we'll get the card up here for you. We got Rod Zawacky with us, Wayne Scott, Damian Sosh, and Kosty Mike Safir. And here's how they'll line up for this evening. We've got Kosty, Sosh, Scott, Zawacky, then I will close this one out. All right, we're into the baseball playoffs. A final in the book, 4-0. Rangers get the win against the Rays. So the Rays punchless there in their the first game of the wild card series, best of 3. So tomorrow it'll be a closeout for 4 of the teams because everyone will be up 1-0. So we'll see how it rolls tomorrow. So baseball on the board today. Tomorrow we've got some early college football as well. So we got a big week coming up with baseball playoffs. NFL back Thursday, and of course big cards on the weekend. So let's get this one underway. Let's go ahead and welcome in Kosty Safir. You'll catch him over at Pick Dogs Premium. Of course, you want to contact them through the text. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Kosty, how you doing this afternoon?
Doing great. It's love playoff baseball. Obviously, I'm a huge Baltimore Orioles fan. I'm right here, local Baltimore, Maryland, where they're excited to see who's gonna beat up on each other with the Texas Tampa Bay matchup. So it's going to be very exciting to see who we play. I really hope it's the Rangers because the Rays are a tough team and we play them so many times during the division.
Yeah, and of course you want to get, it'll work well because you'll have your ace on the mound, and we'll get deeper in that rotation here for the Rangers in the series. They burn their top two starters here in this round. So it does play in the favor here for Baltimore. See if those bats can remain to be hot. But tonight we're gonna look at some football because that is a light card, and we're going over to Sunday back at Jaguars. No travel here. Play in England, stay in England. They'll facing the Bills here. This one moved a little bit here now to Bills 5.5. We see the total 48.5.
Yeah, so we actually at Sharp Trading Plays. We gave out the Jaguars actually plus the 6. So the line's moving against us, which is pretty common for what we do here. The advantage of what we provide to the Pick Dogs community is getting the games at the sharpest line, being able to coach you, giving you money management, and giving you that tech support that you could actually receive, because a lot of people's lines are going to be different. A lot of people's timing of when they get the games and they look at the actual selections are going to be different. And it's my job to tell you whether to play it or just wait until you get that better line, because my groups are moving on games very, very quickly throughout the week. Already 6 games released. This is all about getting the best of the number. And I love the Jags in this spot. It's basically a home game. You're getting a team that never traveled back to the States. They're still over there in England. I've never seen them play 2 games in a row in England. So this is the first time they're doing that. The Bills had a great matchup at home, but again, they have to make a large travel road game. Not saying that the Bills are going to lose the game outright, but I love the 6 points. I think the Jags are trending upward, where they're finally getting in the groove. They're finally being able to get into that offense. Ridley's looking good. ATN's looking good. And their defense, with the first-round pick from Georgia, who made a couple sacks last game, definitely looking good. The Bills, definitely one of the best teams, but I like the Jaguars getting the 6 in this situation. So if you can't get 6 now, it's okay. Just wait. When you get the 6, definitely play it.
All right, we got Safir here on the Jags here, plus 5.5 here against the Bills. Interesting to note, I don't know if you saw the opener in this one. I had to look twice at 2 opening numbers. Yeah, opened here 3 on Buffalo, so it steamed up to 6 now, coming back at 5.5. That was quite a move here from the opener.
Well, the opener is usually, surprisingly, it's before the Bills actually finish the game. Sometimes you could see that look-ahead number, which is deceiving because it's still last week's games haven't even played. So you're not going to get, even though you could get that opening number, you're not going to be able to get a lot of action down on that opening number because your limits are going to be very reduced. Now, once the game is over and Sunday night into Monday morning, that's when you could start getting a lot of the big value and a lot of money down on these games. And that's what my groups do. I have groups feeding me information all day, every day on which games they like. And as long as they are all on the same side and the right price, that's when we give them out to our clients on the private Telegram channel. So again, if you're really interested in treating it like a business, not a losing hobby, feel free to go to pickdogs.com, click the premium picks tab, go to Sharp Trading Plays. You'll see my actual phone number there. You could call or text me direct. Let me know if you're ready to invest money and treat it like a business long term. Nothing is guaranteed short term, Tony. This is an opportunity for you to get all the games in real time and really start cashing in, because we're less than a month away from basketball, so it's about to get really crazy here.
Yeah, absolutely going to get really crazy here. So get a hold of Kosty, Mike. Coach, you answer the phone, right? So they text you, they call you. You're the one that you directly work with, correct?
It's the only person you're going to get is me. It's my direct cell phone number. So please don't call me at 2 a.m. and ask me if you should play this game or not. But be respectful of my time. I will obviously be respectful of yours.
All right, guys. So go ahead and guys, Mike. Let them know that number again.
It's 775-636-7674. That's 775-636-7674.
775-3674. Got that correctly, right? 775. Do that again.
No, but it's all right. It's no big deal. 775-636-7674. But just go to the website.
474. All right. I think I've had this corrected each time. I'm going to keep this thing. All right.
All right.
We'll get it right. I don't know why this number always gets it right there. But anyway, we got it there. So call or text Mike. He'll take care of you. Sharp Trading Plays. And he'll get it. How does a Sunday morning go here for your custom, for the clients here? As it can, these lines move. We get right before kickoff. How does all that work?
It's surprisingly, we don't do a lot of volume on Sundays. Most of our volume is done early in the week. We do a lot of halftime trading on Sundays. So in reality, we're waiting for halftimes of all the 1 o'clock slate and the 4 o'clock slate, just to see if there's any opportunities. We do some at post betting, which means that you're betting the game right at game time, but that's really not the case with NFL. It seems for the first 3 weeks so far, it's been all about getting in the price very early. Last week was we got it in midweek. So it changes every week. You never know how the market is going to favor you. So you have to just sit back and just let the market do the talking. And if it's really favorable early in the week, we play it. If it's a situation where there's a lot of lines that are just not favorable, we're going to wait till post. So usually so far this season, Sundays are pretty quiet. It's most of the time it's early in the week specifically for football that we're doing the damage.
There you go, guys. Trying to get call or text Mike Kosty, Mike Safir right now, 775-636-7474. Sharp Trading Plays. Get on board right now, all right? Mike, it's always great having you show. Enjoy the afternoon, evening, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
See you later.
You got it. Kosty, Mike Safir. Call or text Sharp Trading Plays, 775-636-7474. All right, let's continue on here on the drive-thru. Up next, Damian Sosh. Catch him over at Pick Dogs Premium. We'll bring him in right now. I think we're ready to roll here with Damian. Damian put up some really solid numbers in Major League Baseball this year. It's been fantastic work here from Damian. Ready to roll with Damian. Damian, what's happening?
Hey, what's going on, Tony? A lot of playoff baseball. Definitely an exciting time here in town.
Yeah, very, very. Yeah, I got exciting town, but here in your area, neck of the woods, there's another sport that begins here, the preseason on Friday. Of course, we had that media day on Monday. Of course, a lot of folks wanted some camera time. They put on their Halloween costumes, and it scares the heck out of people with if you caught that Butler scene. But we know it's NBA.
That was scary.
They're all taking their pictures. They're getting their stills. These are the pictures you'll see when these networks post their pictures everywhere. The media day was yesterday, and of course, our preseason begins here on Friday and Saturday, and NBA here just about 3 weeks away. Not too far away, so we're ready to roll. Actually, it's 3 weeks from today, the 24th. So it's a Tuesday is when it starts. So we're getting ready for NBA. Of course, it is a light card this week, as we usually do this time of the year. We start to look into NBA, NHL season win totals, futures as well, to get us to these sports, because we're obviously the drive-through. We are Monday through Friday sports. We're not blessed with a lot of volume at night here in these games. Of course, a lot of the baseball playoffs, half of them are during the afternoon. And small volume. But anyway, we're going to be looking at a season win total with a team very near to you.
Yeah, going to take a look here at the hometown team, the Philadelphia 76ers. Over the last 3 seasons, the Sixers have won 49, 51, 54 games. But once again, they failed to get out of the second round of the playoffs last season. As a matter of fact, the last time the Sixers actually made it out of the second round of the playoffs, you have to go all the way back to the 2001 season. And that's when Allen Iverson led them to the NBA Finals against the Lakers. As a result there of their second round exit, Doc Rivers was let go. They brought in Nick Nurse. And on paper, Nick Nurse, he's going to inherit some nice pieces. They got the reigning MVP, Joel Embiid back. Tyrese Maxey, he's a nice young player. In the offseason, the Sixers added some depth behind Embiid. They brought in 7-foot Mo Bamba. They also added a nice veteran in Patrick Beverley, some scoring, Kelly Oubre Jr. He averaged 20 points per game last season. The problem, though, here in Philly is they've got a lot going on off the court. Obviously James Harden, I'm sure everybody's well and aware, doesn't want to be in Philly. He averaged 21 points, nearly 11 assists last season. Embiid made some comments as well in the offseason that kind of it made me think that he doesn't really want to be here either. When you take a look here at these teams in the Eastern Conference, you got the Bucks just added Damian Lillard. The Celtics brought in Porzingis, and they just signed Drew Holiday. I felt those teams are already better than the Sixers as is, and now they just got better. The Sixers, they just surpassed the last 3 seasons. They surpassed the 48.5 win totals, which is what they're set at right now. I just don't see them beating that mark this year. There's just so many question marks on this roster, and I'm really not sure who really wants to be here playing basketball, to be completely honest with you, Tony. And the under the season win total for me is what it's going to be here on the Sixers, under the season win total for Philly.
All right, Damon says go under the total here, under 48.5 wins here. And a big issue here with Harden, with the general manager. Looked to me that there was sort of like a little handshake agreement between the general manager and Harden. Harden opting in and then expecting that extension, didn't get it. That GM might have gotten himself. Again, you should never promise something you can't deliver. That is just really a bad situation.
Yeah, it's a bad look all around. Obviously, it definitely did seem like something went behind the scenes, and then you obviously had Harden calling out Daryl Morey there in China. That's not going to go over well. So his stays here in Philly, I don't. Obviously, I think they're done. If he should report at all, which I really don't see it happening, he's completely destroyed any kind of trade value that the Sixers were to get back for him. And I can't really imagine any team out there going to be willing to give up anything for him. We've seen everywhere he goes, he kind of blows it up. And he's 34 years old, something like that. So it's just a bad situation. They go from Ben Simmons to James Harden. They go from maybe bad to worse. It's not a good situation there in Philly. And like I said, his trade value is completely diminished. So
yeah, that's
what are you gonna do?
It's just bad. There's nothing good to say about that whole situation. And of course, the Eastern Conference, and Orlando's a team that stockpiled some draft picks. Don't forget about them. Yeah. Atlanta, I don't know. We're going to see with Trae Young if they get some support around him over there. Cleveland is a team that's on the rise, although not in the Atlantic. We know the Knicks. Where will the Knicks seem to be okay at times in the regular season, and of course they'll have struggles there in the postseason. But Milwaukee, we know, got stronger, although they're the same conference but not in the same division. But they will still play each other quite a bit. But it just seems to me that some of those Eastern Conference teams starting to get better as well. Detroit's one of those teams that probably won't be, though.
Yeah, they seem to have been rebuilding for the last decade here out there in Detroit. And another thing, actually, quick to add on there, where it doesn't seem good here for Harden. When you look at Lillard, it's kind of been lately where NBA players dictate where they want to go. It's well documented Lillard wanted to end up in Miami. The fact that he didn't end up in Miami, I think, doesn't bode well here for James Harden as well. He kind of wanted to call his shots here, maybe the Clippers, wherever, but if it didn't go for Lillard, who actually seems to be a valuable kind of player right now, it's not going to go well for Harden.
No, and of course, who's going to want to play for this GM if that is the case? So these players kind of stick together, and that is not that is a bad spot there. Damon here on the Sixers under 48.5 wins. The NBA begins 3 weeks from tonight. And of course, already the NBA, a lot of drama already stirring up in the league. All right, Damon, let's take a look over at Pick Dog Stream. Damon put up some great numbers. Unit leader in baseball this year, 2,785 units of profit. All documented over at Pick Dog Stream. All right, tonight we've got plays up on the board here from Major League Baseball in the primetime hour. Heading into some football tomorrow, more baseball again, a 4-game card tomorrow. What do you have going on over at Pick Dog Premium?
Yeah, we had a really good baseball season, and we're looking to run that into the playoffs here. Excited for the playoff baseball to be here. I didn't have anything on the early card, but I have two plays out there, and both obviously in this evening's game. My Major League Baseball High Heat and my Major League Baseball X Factor for sale, both for sale on the website individually. You can hook yourself up with my X Factor play for just $19. Once that wins, guys, turn it into a long-term plan, which is the best way to go. Excited for playoff baseball. Can't wait for tonight's games.
That's right, guys. Got to board with Damian Sosh over at Pick Dodge Prim. You see the results here. Unit leader over at Pick Dodge Prim for units in baseball. So good time to get on board with Damian here for tonight. Action up on the board, or go longer term with him. He's got the long-term pass. You want to get the 1 month pass. 1 month will get you the remainder of baseball, right? That takes you to it's in November, right? November 2nd. So baseball will be over. The entire postseason's covered with that 1 month pass. A lot of your also NFL, college football, NBA, and NHL covered in that 1 month pass. So perfect time to get that 30-day pass with all these sports overlapping. The entire postseason from baseball is covered. Pick as a promo code. Save that 15% off, right? Damon, as always, great having the show. Continue that great success. Have a great postseason. We'll catch up with you next week.
Thanks, Tony. Have a good night.
You as well. Damian Sosh here on the drive through. All right, let's continue on here on the show. We'll go ahead and welcome in Wayne Scott. Catch him over at Pick Dodge Prim. Also, to put up a really good day as well from Wayne. We've seen him moving up the leaderboards. Pretty good numbers in baseball. Bring him in right now. Wayne, what's happening?
What's going on, Tony T? What's going on out there, Pick Dog family? Hope everybody doing good today.
Everything's going great. All right, baseball playoffs. Love this afternoon action. Into the evening tonight. Primetime hour features Diamondbacks at the Brewers going head-to-head. Brewers holding about minus 163. We see the total sitting here at 8.
Yes, sir. And Diamondbacks been struggling coming into this one. They've lost their last 4, but besides losing their last 4, the bats have been very vacant for them. Only scoring 3 runs out of those last 4. As far as the totals are going in their last 10, they're 3-6-1, only going over 3 times. On the other side, Brewers in the same bout, 3-6-1 in their last 10 to the under. Brewers at home 2-8 in their 10 to the under. Diamondbacks after a loss, 31, 42, and 4 on the season. After a loss, only going over 42% of the time. We got Brandon Pfaadt on the mound. He's been getting his numbers are up because he's gotten rocked early in the season, but he seems to find his groove as of lately. He's pitching very well in his last 5, and he's looked good in his last 5. I definitely trust him. 1-4 to the under in his last 5. Corbin Burns has been up and down this season as well, but I'm trusting him as he's looked good as well in his last 5, giving up 0 runs in his last 2 games too as well. As I mentioned, the bat's been vacant, and the numbers show that in the last 5, Arizona batting right against right-handed pitchers, only batting .221, and Brewers batting .235. So those are on the lower end, and both of these bullpens have been extremely sharp as of lately. Arizona with an ERA of 2 in their last 5. Brewers have an ERA of 2.3 in their last 5. So I'm going with the under here. I like the fact that it's at 8. I like the fact that we're not on the juice side of it at minus 105 on this one. And I'm taking the under here, man. I just don't trust the bats for both of these squads. I do trust these pitchers as far as how they've been playing in recent form. And we've seen so far with these games today, all of them have been lower scoring, and I think this one will be too.
All right, we got Wayne here. Says go under 8 here with the D-backs and the Brewers playoff baseball for tonight here, top of the hour. Yeah, also the bullpens here over the past 10 games, both under 2.5, 2.50 for both the Brewers and the Diamondbacks. Bullpens coming in good. And Pfaadt is someone who got rocked early, showed improvement in August, got better here at the end of the season. And the fact that he's actually, the unders come in 13-3 to the under Pfaadt, facing teams that average 7 or more strikeouts per game. This is a Brewers team historically we've seen over the years that have had bad luck with health to their pitchers. Just when we thought this was going to be a year when everyone's healthy, we saw a pitcher go down yesterday. The luck that doesn't seem to be on their side. But again, they don't make their own luck because the Brewers historically have struggled hitting the postseason.
Yes, sir. And with that, dude, that just points it out a lot more. I'm liking what I've seen from Corbin Burns lately, man. He's kind of putting the team on his back. He's one of them guys that a lot of people trusted early in the season, although he hasn't played that well then. He's kind of showing you the stuff that he has that where people big him up, the reason he gets bigged up is how he's been played lately. And as you said, Brewers not only have been struggling traditionally with the bats, they've been struggling a little bit of lately, averaging about three runs lately. So it's not one of the higher end bats that I would be scared of as far as the over. And Diamond has been hitting terribly. I love the under in this spot.
Yeah, also two Brewers, make note here, when favored at home by minus 150 or higher, they are 44-27 to the under. That's usually when they have one of their top aces on the, when they're that big of a favorite, it's one of their top aces on the mound. And again, 2 out of 3 games about going under. It's a spot here with one of their top aces here. Under total of 8 here, the Brewers and D-backs. This one will have a start time here, top of the hour. All right, Wayne, let's take a look over at pick document for tonight's action. Of course, we do have baseball on the board here. Heading to some football tomorrow. Of course, baseball this week into the postseason. Great results from Wayne, 1,312 units of profit. What do you have going over at Pick Dogs Premium?
I have one play in the early games is actually going on right now. I do not want to jinx myself, so I would just tune in over to the site to see if I win. I got a big O over there. And I have my game tonight, which will be the 8 o'clock game if you guys want to hop on that with me. I have my college football play ready and my college football play ready for Thursday. So I'm locked and loaded pretty early this week. Be digging into this NFL card, trying to get the best lines. Pretty hot this weekend, so I'm trying to dig myself out a little hole as far as the NFL. And I feel it coming, guys. So check me out on that 3-day, 7-day, and that 30-day. And let's continue to get cash, continue to climb up that leaderboard.
Climb up that leaderboard indeed with Wayne Scott over at Pick Dogs Premium. You see the great results here from Wayne for baseball, 1,312 units of profit, showing great profit over the last 7 days. And of course, here goes play of the day up on the board right now, $19 premium play. It's product credit guaranteed. It must turn a profit. The amount you purchase is credit back to your account for site credits. That is credit guarantee. Why not consider that long-term pass? We talked about it again. That 30-day pass gets you the remainder of the postseason. The World Series included for on the 30-day pass. All your NBA begins in 3 weeks. Hockey begins next week. And, of course, we also have all the football in there. Perfect time with all these sports overlapping to get that 1-month pass. That perfect timing there. Pick is a promo code. Save an additional 15% off. All right, Wayne, as always, great having you show. Continue that success. We won't jinx anything. We'll catch up with you again tomorrow. And, of course, let everybody know that boxing series you're running over at Pick Dogs.
Yes, sir. You should see one this week. There is a card worthy enough for me to talk about the main event and give you guys my bet and my pick on that one. So far, man, 2-1 on the last card while giving out a plus 340 winner, and I also hinted to that he'll win via decision, which he did win, which was plus 800. So if you just took a money line, that was 340, and if you sprinkled a little bit on that via decision plus 800, you came out pretty good. So guys, tune in to that boxing video when you see it drop this week, and I continue to give you guys the best bets I got on it.
You guys, you make sure you like, subscribe, set notifications when those plays from Wayne drop. Get them right away so you can see the great results. And hey, Wayne's been giving boxing picks out here for quite a while. Now he's got the video series, so you guys definitely want to make sure you like, subscribe, and set notifications to be notified when these videos drop. All right, Wayne, continue that success. We'll catch up with you again on tomorrow's show.
I appreciate you, Tony T, as always, man. Thank you for having me, and good luck on all your bets tonight, everybody.
You got it. Wayne Scott here on the drive. So guys, you ever miss a pick on our show? We always recap at the end of the show. Stay tuned for that. Let's continue on here on the drive-thru. Up next is Rod Zawacky. Rod's been good to us here on the drive-thru. Hope you caught the segment yesterday. WNBA CFL up there, so you can always watch the replay with Rod as he goes over with the peripherals here. We'll bring in Rod in right now. Ready to roll here with Rod Zawacky. Bring him in. Rod, what's happening?
Hey, not too much. Watching some of this baseball. Look, Texas got the win. I was a little surprised there. But it's only one.
Montgomery.
At least it's not a one-game winner-take-all like these normally are. At least it's nice to see a best of 3. Coming down, you play 162 games a year that comes down to one game. That stinks.
Yeah.
So at least you got a chance. Best
of
3. Some of these tough.
I don't mind the no travel either, because if you get the higher seed, I think you should get some advantage. I don't mind the way it's set up like this.
I don't mind the way it's set up. Yeah, you got you earned this spot to get all 3 at home. Hey, we don't need to travel in there. That's just extra. But it's the extra whole idea. At least you have a shot. If you lose 2, well, then you're out. Then it's different. Yeah. At least it's not one blip and then you're out. That's tough.
That's a tough one to swallow us after, especially now you got division winners now in this wild card round, which does make it a little crazy. But anyway, we're going now. Of course, as we sit here, lights card today, so we're getting that part of the year where we look at some season win totals, team props, player props. You're looking over, I believe here we're going with the NHL tonight.
Yeah, going with the NHL tonight, we're going to go with a team that I definitely follow really well. This Edmonton Oilers team, we're going to go with Leon Draisaitl to win the Rocket Richard Trophy. You see, over the last 2 seasons, he's played 80 games in both seasons. He's scored over 50 goals in both of the last couple seasons. We know he's definitely top on the power play, and been ripping it up. You look, to end last season, he scored 16 goals in 20 games last season to end the year, and then he continued his scoring right into the playoffs. So coming into the season, I expect that power play of the Oilers to be just as potent as it was last year, and I think they're going to have the best power play again because the same guys on there. They upgraded Brown. They might put him in there, but they're still going to have the top best power play in the league this season. And Draisaitl is always on there and getting the goals. So we've seen that McDavid got the Richard Trophy last season, but I think this season, if you look and you go 16 goals average, 16 goals a game, over 20, he plays 80. That works out to be about 64 goals, and that would get him the trophy. I think and he's somewhere mid 60s, high 60s. That was the Richard Rocket Trophy, and I think Leon Draisaitl does it this season. I'm going to take a shot here, plus 700 for him to do it. We have McDavid figuring, everybody's figuring he's going to win it. He's the favorite to win it again, but I don't think he does. And then follow that up is the, over the last 3 seasons, the top goal scorer has been Austin Matthews. So he's the second on that list. Third is Leon Draisaitl. I think he wins it. Go with Leon Draisaitl. Wins the Rocket Richard Trophy.
There you go from Zawacky. Hockey coverage as well. Of course, season win, the point totals here for Edmonton Oilers. They go over or under their point total this year?
I think they go over their point total this season. I don't think they're going to mess around with having to worry about trying to win a division late. I think they win the division. They put their foot right on the gas right from game 1. And they don't want to be messing around like they did last season, trying to hang on and having so much drama. I think it cost them too much energy, trying to spend energy, trying to just make the playoffs last season at the end. So I think they come out a little bit more shot out of the can and then make sure they get those wins early. They get themselves a lead so they're not as pressed coming down late in the season. So, yeah, I like the over totals for the Oilers.
Yeah.
I also like them to win the Pacific.
Yeah, that was going to say, because the way the playoffs are structured here in hockey, it's interdivision. Then you throw in the wild card, but it's really tough when you got to play that 2 versus 3. That we talked about that a lot last year, and some teams were trying to avoid that spot. You got to be clear front runner, just win clear. Don't have to worry about that 2 versus 3 matchup, because that's always a grind for these hockey teams when they start the postseason with a grind here against a division member that were third best. That 2 versus 3 is a spot you don't want to be in.
Yeah, 2 years in a row we had to face the Kings in that grind in the first round of the playoffs, and I don't think the Oilers want to face the Kings in the first round of the playoffs again this season. So I think they come out and they definitely want to increase. I think they win the Pacific. There's another bet you can take. I think the Oilers win the Pacific. They get the better seed heading into the playoffs to make a nice playoff run this season. Undoubtedly, they make the playoffs, no problem. And I think, I'll give you another one. These future bets, I'm going to take Campbell to win the Vezina as well. We seen him last night, and the Seattle Kraken had like 30 shots on him. He stood on his head. It's kind of what I figured. The goalie, after getting paid, that season right after is always bad, but following season after having a bad season, watch out. Usually he steps up, and I think Campbell steps up this season, and he's got a great shot to win the Vezina.
Yeah, that's right. Looking for Campbell there. And, thoughts here on Vegas is a team that snuck up on everybody, right? They won it all. How do you see Vegas coming in? I mean, last year was a lot of question mark with their goaltending, but somehow, some way, they were to pull through.
Right, and I think that they're going to still have the duo. You're still going to have Aiden Hill there in goal. Plus, you've got another goalie that's quite capable as well, who was injured. So whether he comes back or not, I think Vegas still has the goalie in this. You just can't count them out. They're still going to be in the talk of the mix in the Pacific, as always. And then you got the Avs, who are still going to be in the talk in the Pacific. But for me, the Avs, they're in trouble goalie wise to start the season. Their goalie's out. Georgiev is I don't think he's the goalie that it's all cracked up to be. Frank Hughes is injured, so he's probably not even going to start the season. So they're going to have a rookie number 2 goalie in the backup behind Georgiev. Tough stop, but the Avs, goalie wise, I think they might be hunting for a goalie real early in the season. Maybe beating the Avs real early in the season.
How do you see Calgary with the coaching change? Suter, I remember him with the Kings, real defensive grinder type of guy. We'll see. Of course, hockey's a little bit more wide open. How do you see Calgary?
For me, Calgary's going to be tough. They're going to be tough pressed to make the playoffs. Even with the coach change and the turnover, how many guys left that were like, well, I don't want to be on Calgary, let me out, and they all left. So there's a few pieces left. Mangiapane's still there. I think he has a good breakout season for the Flames, but it's tough. I think they missed the playoffs. The way they had such a turnover and the turmoil after last season, and I'm not a fan of marketing their number 1 goalie either. So I think the Flames are going to struggle mightily this season.
Yeah, Vancouver had some drama there. Minnesota and Dallas. Dallas, the team is tough, but Minnesota, a grinding type of team. How do you see those 3 teams season?
The Canucks, I like the Canucks. The Canucks, they got a young team, and I think they're going to start to gel with Pedersen there in Vancouver. He's definitely a solid piece, and they've got a bunch of young guys. If they can start getting that momentum going after the debacle last season with the coach change and all that, and I think they've put that behind them. And they've got a young, gritty team that they can fight night after night. So watch out. We've seen the end of the season last year. The Canucks were definitely a scrappy bunch. So I think they could have a good season. Watch out for the Canucks. Definitely a solid team.
That's Canucks. And, of course, out east, so, of course, you got the Rangers, Islanders, Devils. The Sabres seem to get off to a good start. Then they go backwards quickly. Philadelphia, of course, Boston's out there. Of course, Toronto. That East is always a battle.
Always going to be a battle out in the East. I like the Devils this year. Another young, gritty team. We've seen them step up last season and make the playoffs and play some gritty hockey in the East. And I think they take another step forward. I like the Devils to come out of the East this year. I really do. I think they've got the talent to do it and all the pieces to do it. So watch out for the Devils this season. Watch out for the Ottawa Senators as well. Another Canadian team that they've got the pieces. They took some pieces from Philadelphia. They took the Kings goalie in Korpisalo. So now they've got a solid goaltender. There's another guy that might win the Vezina. Watch out. Korpisalo, we've seen in the playoffs, gave the Oilers fits, and they were lucky to get past him in that round. He definitely gave them a scare. And I think he has a solid team being the number 1, and now he's in the position of being that number 1. I think he steps up, and it's a solid season. Ottawa doesn't have to worry about all the goalie issues they had last season. I figured last season was going to be a good year for Ottawa, but with their goalie issues, with Talbot going down and their issues in goal, I don't think they have those same issues this season. And they've even added more pieces in depth to that Ottawa team. We've seen some of these young guns in the AHL rip teams up and get wins. They just beat Pittsburgh last night. The young guns from the AHL.
Wow.
That's the depth on this Ottawa team that beat the Pittsburgh Penguins and Crosby in his hometown of Cole Harbour last night. So for me, watch out for this Ottawa Senators team. They for real. As I said earlier a couple times, take the Ottawa Senators to beat the Toronto Maple Leafs in every Battle of Ontario this year.
There you go, from Rod Zawacky. Of course, out in the South, we look here we knew what was going on with the Lightning, Florida Panthers, and of course that Carolina team that is a real physical team, hard-checking team. I think no one likes to face them. They give you bumps and bruises.
Carolina is probably the top team to come out of the East that they're predicting to come out of the East. They have a solid team again. They're definitely gritty, hard-hitting. Nobody wants to go into Carolina and play. That's a tough home arena to play in. They love their hockey in Raleigh, and man, it was the only hockey team that I've seen when we were playing hockey in the bubble that the team actually had a send-off to send the team going to play in the bubble. They had a big parade, and they were all marching down the street. They definitely love their hockey in Raleigh, and they definitely can play it as well. So watch out for Carolina. You can't count them out. Boston, they had a couple of retirements. that retired off their team, but they have some young guys that stepped up. They still have the goalie duo in Allmark and Swayman, so you can't count on Boston. I think one of those two get traded at some point for some more pieces to the puzzle for Boston. They finally make a decision on who's going to be number one, and I think Allmark might be going somewhere. And watch out! I hope he doesn't go to the Avs, because that would make the Pacific even more tough than what it already is. But I think Allmark goes somewhere before the trade deadline this season, because Boston doesn't need two goalies. They definitely don't need two goalies, and they also have a younger goalie in their farm system that can come up and take the place, because they're just spitting out goalies in Boston right now. Tampa picked up Jonas Johansson to back up Elliott in that time, and you know what? He's going to get the start tonight. And he played. We've seen him. He played 3 games with Florida with the Panthers last season. And you know what? He played pretty well in those 3 games. He got 2 wins. Got a win. I believe he lost in the shootout in one of those as well. But he sported a 2.10 goals against average. Take Tampa tonight as an upset. Nice little plus money for you in tonight's NHL action. Tampa might not be as bad as what they think, but they have a lot of guys, a lot of young guys on that team now. But goalie-wise, hey, they might be all right goalie-wise, even with Vasilevsky out.
There we go. And, of course, some of the Rookie of the Year candidates, we can keep an eye on some of the young blood into the hockey this season.
There's one clear-cut favorite, and it's Connor Bedard is the clear-cut favorite. He's the minus 140 favorite to win the Rookie of the Year. And if you've seen some of his preseason games already, man, he dangles that puck just like McDavid does. Like he's got it on a string, and he dangles it out here for you to go attempt to get it, and he just pulls it back in. And he already scored a highlight reel goal in the preseason. Deked the guy right out of his shorts, and then deked the goalie right out of his shorts and put it in. So, out of the rookies, I got to say that Connor Bedard is going to win the Rookie of the Year. I don't think there's anybody else that's even comes close to the skill level that he puts on the table. And that's why the Bucks have him minus 140 favorite to win Rookie of the Year.
All right. Any good value here with the yes, no, make playoffs? Any good value there on any yes or no to make playoffs?
I'm still going to say what I said. I know I like Tampa tonight, but I still say that Tampa, no, does not make the playoffs.
There you go.
As one of those big teams that you figure that will make it there, no, they don't make the playoffs.
There's always one. There's always a couple that don't, right? There's always a couple.
Yeah, there's always. Always a couple. And then, you know the one that I'm really thinking that might? This Rangers team, they've had the last couple seasons, and they've talked about them and talked about them and talked about them. Well, what have they done? Nothing. They made the East Final a couple of seasons ago. Last season, it was pretty dreadful and ugly. And what's going to happen this season? They missed the playoffs. That's what happens.
Could be like the Islanders, right? Islanders a couple of years ago. They were the team on the rise, right?
Yeah, everybody was talking about the Islanders. Don't ask Alex Smart. He'll be like, oh, man, don't even bring up the Islanders. Don't even bring up the Islanders.
I won't bring up the Islanders on Alex Smart. Well, I'm sure he may give them again, like he did the last couple of seasons.
This is finally their year.
Finally their year. Yeah, you got to ride them this year, right? Because they're finally going to make it, right? So
I'm sure Romanelli says they're due in there. It's this
oh yeah,
they got the goalie. Watch out.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, there's a team that always has some issues with their stadium, right? With their arena.
And yeah, exactly. They have one goalie. And so the backup goalie that they have is just awful. So, when the backup's in, it's just like bet against the Islanders because he's just awful. So they have one goalie running. It's tough.
Also, too, have the Coyotes kind of figured out what they're doing yet? Arizona.
Yeah, they're still muddled about in the just like Coyotes do. They ramble around and they aimlessly wander.
They get real skinny. They get real skinny, like they need to eat.
They get real skinny. They're just like Coyotes do.
They're starving. They're starving for money, looking to eat.
Looking to eat. Yep, starving out in the desert. What are we gonna do?
Oh, no, they don't want them. The arena didn't want them. I guess they played at Arizona State. Oh my God, that's just they can't find a place. And obviously, there's this. Obviously, talks. Is this a league that's going to look to expand anytime soon?
They're talking about it. Putting a couple more teams in. I think they were talking about putting another Canadian team in up in Quebec, bringing the Nordique back into the fold. Where else? There was someplace in the States they were talking about maybe putting a team. Maybe Atlanta, back in Atlanta again. They had the Thrashers before.
I heard Portland. That might be a baseball team they were talking about. That's a good question, right? There are
I don't know.
we'll see what happens, because there have been some talks here on expansion. A lot of the leagues are talking expansion, because these franchises worth about $1 billion. That puts a lot of money into these owners' pockets when you can get a billionaire to come in and buy a franchise.
And look at the success that the NHL's had with bringing in. The Vegas team was an expansion team, and they went the first year to the Stanley Cup final.
Kraken.
And then the Kraken last year made the playoffs and looked real good. So hey, the expansions, the way they do it in the NHL is pretty good. They do the expansion draft, and you can protect only so many guys, and a couple of those guys you can cherry pick for some teams.
Well, that's why the expansion the price is expensive to get a team now, because they give them a little bit of favorable. It's a little more favorable coming in. It's not a long rebuild, long build anymore. But again, you have to pay for it as an owner, right? With these high prices.
Yeah, when you come in as an expansion team, you definitely have to pay for it as well as to get in as that expansion. But you get the perks of you get kind of cherry picking the board of some pretty good players. Look what Vegas did, and look what the Kraken did. They've definitely skipped about 5 years of trying to rebuild a team to where they are now. Like where both of those teams are now.
Best free agent signing of the offseason. And who had the best offseason?
Ottawa. And who was the best signing? I would say Korpisalo. I really do. I think picking up Korpisalo in goal shores up Ottawa in the goalie department. I think that's the biggest signing. And we'll see. We'll see how Brown does, because I think that might be a big pickup for the Oilers. Getting Brown, getting Connor McDavid's wingman back from juniors. So those two paired together like he was in juniors hockey, playing together. I'm excited to see it.
And some people in the chat room chime in about the Capitals.
Ooh.
Oh no,
the Capitals. It's the Ovi show. It's always going to be the Ovi show in Washington until he breaks Gretzky's record. He's really, you know what? He's done what he wanted. He won the Stanley Cup. He's got what he's wanted. He has one goal left, and it's own the goal scoring record, be the most goal scoring. And I think it's going to take him a bit. I think it's going to take him all of this season, and they're going to take halfway through next season. So when you look at it, I'm looking at about 2025. Somewhere January, February 2025. So the Ovi show is still going to get a year and a half or so to go for him to get those goals. But that's his goal. He wants to beat Gretzky's record. So for me in Washington, yikes.
Yep, that's right.
They've got the guys and the talent to do it, but I don't know what they did last season at the trade deadline where they sold off a bunch of guys instead. They were right there in the playoff mix, and they decided that they just wanted to fold the season in instead of trying to make a run down the stretch. It still baffles me to this day why they were sellers at the deadline when they were in the playoff position.
Yeah, there we go. And also chime in about Patrick Kane.
I think he ends up in Dallas.
Oh,
that's the rumor mill. I've heard that he's rumored that he's been the big rumor was like he's going to end up in the Oilers and Taves is going to come with them, right? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. The rumors that I hear now and rumblings is that he's going to end up in Dallas. And Dallas team, the offense, from what they had last year, they struggled on offense. Many a times they struggled to put the puck in the net and get wins.
All right,
so
we know.
Dallas, I can see that's where he goes. Kane to Dallas.
We know the least amount of job security in any sport is NHL, because they don't waste any time. First coach fired this year.
First coach fired this year? We're going to go with that's a tough one. That's really a tough one. Well, we've seen what's his name, but
that was before the season, right? Yeah, that's right.
That's a tough question. You have to get back. I'll let you know tomorrow. How's that?
Okay.
Dig a little bit.
All right, and we got to forget for those out in I know West Coast hockey. We forgot the Sharks, Kings, and the Anaheim Mighty and the Ducks.
Right. If anything, it might be the Kings. If the Kings don't come on hot out of the gate, they might have to rock the boat and stir everything up. But I don't know. They
2 first-round exits.
I don't know why people think that Talbot is the answer. in LA, Talbot is not the answer. He's getting up there. I can't believe that's.
Yeah, we saw what happened to Quick, right? They didn't defend well enough, right?
But he is the veteran, grizzled veteran. He will give the young rookie there in LA who played one season last season, right? So But the Kings do have a solid goalie. That's why they got rid of Corpusalo. But then they brought in Talbot maybe to help him out. There's a veteran who's been there, done that. I don't know. I'm leaning that the coach of the Sharks is probably going to be.
Probably the Shark coach, yeah. The Sharks they like playoff success over there.
They do, yeah, and they haven't had a whole lot of anything to cheer about in the Shark Tank, especially tonight. They play Vegas. I believe they play Vegas and be trouble.
Yeah, Vegas came in and made all these teams out west look bad. Kings, Ducks, and the Sharks, and the Kraken.
They play the Sharks. Yeah, they play the Sharks tonight, and Aiden Hill gets the start for Vegas. Vegas at home. Take Vegas.
All right, there you go. We got a little bit of hockey breakdown here from Rod as we're ready to start the season on Tuesday. And of course, Rod, we're getting ready for tonight's action here. We got the play from Rod. Let's get to look over at Pick Dogs from tonight's action. Baseball on the board tonight. Rod's been hot over the last 30 days. Nearly 1,200 units of profit. What do you have going over at the site?
And I got one play going tonight. I got my 10-star play of the day. We hit it yesterday with Seattle. Looking to keep it rolling. I'm 14-5-1 my last 20 10-star pick of the days. Also 72-49-1 the last 122. So that play's been on fire. I don't know where Pick Dogs and scoop it up. It's my top play of the day. My only play on the board I got for one tonight. So scoop it up. $19. Join me as we crush the bookies with that play.
That's right. Crush Boogies indeed with Ron Zawacky over at Pick Dogs Premium. See, he's been red hot here last 3 days, 1,172 units of profit, all documented over at Pick Dogs Premium. Of course, the best thing to do right now is get that 1 month pass that covers the remainder of the baseball playoffs. All the football, hockey begins on Tuesday, so you get a good 3 weeks of hockey. NBA, 3 weeks from now begins. So a lot going on right now with these long-term passes. 30 days is the way to go. The remainder of the postseason, last game of the World Series is covered, right? This takes you to November 2nd. Baseball's got to be over by November 1st. Yep. So that's the way you want to roll with Ron Zawacky on that 1 month pass. Pick as a promo code. Save that 15% off. Rod, as always, great having a show. We did have someone ask you a question. I guess that we got some people playing Survivor in the chat. They think, should they take New England to beat the Saints?
No.
No.
No. Well, I think I see some stats where here, give me 1 second here. I'll pop up a stat that I seen. I know I seen somewhere where the Saint or where did I see that? Give me 1 second. I can answer that question for you. Let's see. The Saints have covered the spread on the road against the AFC East 4 straight. You look at Belichick. He's looking like he might want to check out of this relationship. He doesn't look like he's having fun at all. He just had suffered the worst beatdown of his career. I know the Saints are struggling as well, but that defense is tough. And I'm sorry, Mac Jones is trash like the Giants, like Mac Jones. So yikes. Yeah,
that's a tough.
It's Jones and Jones. So we got the Jones and Jones show. No, I'm gonna. Mac Jones is awful.
Yeah, so that's how Rod sees it here in that one. All right, Rod, it's always great having you show. Continue that great success. We'll catch up with you again on tomorrow's show.
Definitely. Good luck with your bets tonight, and we'll catch you tomorrow, Tony.
You got it. Rod Zawacky here on the Drive Thru. Let's continue here on the show, guys. We'll get to the recap in a little bit. We'll get to my play, and then we'll get to the recap. As you know, not a whole lot on the board tonight, so we're going to be looking here at college football. We're going to give you I've had a pretty good year in college football this year, so why not? We're going to look at this one here between Syracuse and North Carolina. We're going to go Syracuse here. Just think, it's that they ran into that buzzsaw defense in Clemson last week. I think we're going to see a little bit of a bounce back here from the Qs. Not saying they could win this game, but they are 4-1. That turnover late hurt them in that game. Hurt them to make the cover. We know Orange, a very good defensive team, 20th in total defense, give 297 yards a game, hold foes to 4.3 yards per play, which is 6th in the nation. Looking here at North Carolina Tar Heels, Their a pass defense really struggle against App State and South Carolina. They contain weak offensive teams in Pittsburgh and Minnesota. So I see this as an opportunity for Syracuse to be competitive in this one because of the Tar Heels defense. And that's what I'm going to go here, take Syracuse's offense against the defense to keep it close, closer than the spread. And then we'll take them here, Syracuse here, plus 8.5 against North Carolina. This one will begin 3:30 Eastern Time. ESPN televised it on Saturday. That's your pick from me today on the show. All right, let's continue on here on the drive. We've got a best bet from baseball tonight on the board. So go ahead and get signed up. Remember the promo code PICK at checkout. You'll save 15% off. Also have my long-term passes, my 3, 7, or 30-day all sports pass. Get all my pre and plays for that time period. Just like when you go to my handicapper page and make that purchase, remember the promo code PICK at checkout. Save that 15% off. All right, let's get to the recap from the show. All right, we got to start off with Safir. He liked the Jaguars now plus 5.5 against the Bills. Damian says Sixers under 48.5 wins. Wayne liked Diamondbacks, Brewers under 8. Of course, Rod was on Drysdale to score 64 plus goals and wins a Richard Trophy. I'll be on Syracuse plus the 8.5 here against North Carolina. The one I like the most, let's go with Damian there to go Sixers, 76ers going under 48.5 wins. Yeah, it doesn't look good there in Philadelphia right now. And that's how we'll look at it at that. That's just we'll see. Then again, starting here on in 3 weeks. Right now we just saw the media day yesterday, and of course the preseason begins Friday and then into Saturday. So we'll get the preseason end day. We'll see how this Sixers team with a new coach, how things work for them. It's been a very difficult offseason for them with the Harden situation. Harden, opted into to extend his year, but then again he was supposed to get that contract extension. Didn't happen. There's some whispers that maybe the GM overpromised, couldn't deliver because the owner made a balk on it. So that's a bad situation there in Philadelphia right now. So we'll look at that indeed. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the Drive Thru, guys. Be sure to tune in again tomorrow live here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll do it all over again. We'll bring our cappers from Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place to go out there plays in prime time. We'll have 2 games in prime time from Major League Baseball, as well as 2 in prime time from college football. So we got college football action tomorrow, and of course, as always, we'll open it up for other sports as well. We're time of the year here when we'll start to look at NBA season win totals, NHL as well, maybe some early looks at football, NFL. We'll have picks for you guys, actionable picks for you here on the show. You guys know how we roll this time of the year. Appreciate everyone's contributions and everyone's viewership today. Shout out there to Daryl Turner in the chat, Blake in there as well, Leon Beal in there, Nicholas Handy, shout out there, Great Start Real in there in this chat room as well. Sean joined us in here. Orlando86, shout out to you as well, always in our room as well. Daniel Burns Sports Highlights, shout out to you as well. So thanks for joining us here on this drive-thru. That's going to do it. Let's go ahead and bring in our crew from tonight. We're going to wave goodbye to you guys. You guys have a great afternoon, evening, and we'll